Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our quarterly corporate impact report. My name is Hester Berry. I'm the Director of Corporate and Foundation Giving here at Northern Illinois Food Bank. And we really appreciate you taking the time to get on this call. This is our opportunity to thank our many corporate donors for their support over the last few months and let you know about our ongoing and new opportunities to engage with the food bank in feeding our hungry neighbors. We have muted all the attendees, but if you have a comment during the webinar or a question, please use the chat box and we will respond either immediately if it's an immediate needs an immediate response, or at the end when we have time for questions. We have made our impact report and our event sponsorship packet available for you to view in the side panel. And now I'd like to introduce our president, Julie Yurko. Julie.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being on the call. I'd love to share with you first where we are halfway through our fiscal year. We're July 1 to June 30 fiscal. As you know, one of the things we are primarily focused on is meeting the meal gap in our 13 counties, which according to the USDA is estimated at between 70 and 75 million meals. Last year, we distributed 62.5, which puts us 89% of our way to our goal. We, however, also hold ourselves accountable to looking at every community across our 13 counties and seeing how many of those communities are receiving all the meals they need according to that USDA data. And I'm really pleased to report that 61% of our communities are what we would consider food secure, meaning that we are providing access to the number of missed meals that have been identified by the USDA. So that's all great news. We are growing, and we are growing to serve our neighbors. This year, so far, through December 31st, we've distributed just over 32 million meals. Our intent, our hope is to grow to at least 65.5 million meals by the end of June for this fiscal year. As we are getting closer to the 70 to 75 million meals, as expected, it is a little bit harder to move, to not only acquire the food to move, but also move these meals to our different communities, some of which have higher need or through which our network has less capacity. So we do expect these last couple of miles on our strategic plan to be more challenging to meet than the first few. The other update I wanted to share with you was around our Build Healthy Communities pathway of our strategic plan. We know how closely linked food insecurity and living in poverty is with having poor health. So we have launched in December with the Kishwaukee Hospital a new program called the Healthy Harvest Produce Box. We are working in the hospital with their cancer, diabetes, and heart disease centers to screen their patients for food insecurity. Once that patient is screened as positive for food insecurity, they are offered the opportunity to get a produce box of 15 or more pounds of fresh produce. They can simply walk down the hall in the hospital to the cafeteria and pick up that box at no charge. We are also working with other hospitals. Kishwaukee is part of the Northwestern network, so we are already in conversations with other hospitals within that network to duplicate this program should it be successful. So far, we're very, very pleased to be able to provide this much needed nutritious food to help the health of these patients. The other update I'd like to give is around igniting the community and our community's support of what we're doing here at the food bank. I'm highlighting the volunteer hours, and you'll see that's because they're below the same period from last year. So this is where I'm going to ask you that if you haven't come to visit us, if you're looking for a team retreat, please consider bringing your company to one of our centers and volunteering some of the hours. We could certainly use your help, particularly this time of year. You know, our second quarter, the fourth quarter of the calendar year, we get much interest for volunteering, but over the next couple of months, we could really use some additional volunteers coming in to help us process, inspect, repack the food for our hungry neighbors. And then the final thing I wanted to highlight was around our South Suburban Center. We are looking to open a new center. This would be our fourth warehouse location across our 13 counties this summer. We are in the final stages of securing a location, and then we'll be able to build out that location to meet all the needs of our food bank. We are working with our agencies. We know that by opening the center, we'll be able to move more food, more meals to our agencies in the South Suburban area, which is Kendall, Will, Kankakee, and Grundy counties. So we're already working on getting the word out to our partners that we're coming, but also out to our companies and our volunteers again, that once come August, we'll have this beautiful new center. We'd love to have them come in and be a part of the work we're doing there. So that's a very quick update. I'm glad to report that things are going well for the food bank, but as always, we are so dependent on the generosity of others, and we thank you for what you do for us.
Thank you, Julie. Hopefully that gives you a little snapshot of what we've been doing for the last 6 months and what we're looking forward to doing over the next 6 months. During 2017, we have several exciting events planned with sponsorship and employee engagement opportunities. And Kate Thomas is here to tell you briefly about each one and where you can find more information. Kate.
Hi, everybody. We're just going to go through the events real quick, sort of some of the sponsorship opportunities and the price of tickets. You'll see on the bottom of the screen my contact info. So if you want more information about a specific event, or if you have any questions about a specific event, please let me know. Our event that's coming up real quick is a Cup of Hope, which is a garden tea. It's an English-style tea service with food, champagne, snacks, and then also a speaker that will talk about tips and tricks to get butterflies into your yard through your gardening. And we're also going to have a demo of different ways to build gardening boxes at that event. This is our only our second year for this one, so it's one of our newest events. And we have sponsorships ranging from $1,000 to $5,000, and individual tickets are only $100. So if you want to come out to the tea, learn a little bit more about gardening, please do. And it's at Hotel Arista this year in Naperville, which is a new location for this one as well. And then we are actually having our 6th annual Taste That Matters event on May 18th at Drury Lane in Oak Brook Terrace. This event has live entertainment, a large silent auction, tasting stations from over 30 local chefs, businesses, and restaurants. And we have tons of sponsorships from this one, ranging from $2,500 to $30,000. Jewel Osco is actually our presenting sponsor this year for this event again, and individual tickets are $200. This event usually brings in about 1,000 guests. So even if you can't sponsor, please consider donating an auction item because it gets your name in front of a lot of people, and on our online bidding app as well for that. We also have 3 Foodie 5Ks coming up this year. The first one is on April 1st at Cantini Park in Wheaton. That's actually the largest of the 3 right now. Last year we were at about 1,600 participants. And so if you want to sponsor, we have sponsorships ranging from $250 to $25,000. Meyer is again our presenting sponsor for our Foodie 5Ks. But even if you can't sponsor, please organize a team. Encourage your employees, your community to sign up and participate. We do have other companies that are offering wellness points or incentives for people to participate. Excuse me. Also, if you do sponsor at $1,000 level or above, you get a tent at the event that you can market yourself, feature any sort of service you would want to feature. And like I said, the one in Cantini is 1,600 runners, so that's a lot of people, again, to get yourself in front of. And then May 13th in Independence Grove has about 800 runners. And September 9th, down in Romeoville is a new location this year at Lewis University. Our Joliet area race last year had about 500 runners, so we're hoping to up that number with this new location. And then we are doing, I think it's our 18th annual Hunger Scramble golf outing on August 22nd at Cantini Golf Club in Wheaton. The foursome is $1,000, individual golfers are $300, and we have sponsorships ranging from $1,200 to $15,000. You can get your name on a hole at the course. You can, again, offer an auction item or a raffle item for that event as well. So please let me know if you want more info on that one. And then we are doing again this year our Stars and Cars event, which is hosted at the Steve Foley Motors dealership in Northbrook. We actually don't have a presenting sponsor for this event yet, so if you'd like to be the presenting sponsor at $25,000, please let us know. We will take you. We're still figuring out the ticket price for this year for this event. I think it's going to be $100 this year instead of the $200 that it was last year. And for this event, we partner with our co-chair from the Chicago Bears. So we have a lot of retired athletes from Chicago that come to these events as well. And yeah, so if you have questions about any of them or any sponsorship opportunities, please let me know.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kate. And please get in touch with us if you're interested in participating or sponsoring one of those events. And now we'd just like to give you an opportunity to hear from a couple of our corporate partners that have really stepped up in the past year. Numark Credit Union has committed to help us raise funds for our South Suburban Center because 3 of their 5 branches are located in Will County. So I'd like to introduce Linda Krakora to share some very creative ideas they have to get their employees involved in their fundraising. Linda.
Hi, Hester. Thank you. We started just at the end of last year with this involvement with the food bank, and I really wanted our staff to feel the involvement, not just here's a Jean Day, donate $5. So what we did was we had a cook-off contest, and I asked Hester to give me a list of items that are regularly available on the food pantry trucks, and the items that didn't move so well, like cranberries. And we put a contest out there that you had to use 5 to 6 items. 4 of them had to come from those lists, and at least 2 from each, the commonly used and then the not so much liked. And we had a blast. We had so many people cook for it, and they were cracking up because it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with cranberries. And we had some really clever meals. You see a picture of some of what went on, but I won for a cranberry coffee cake. I was really excited. But it got everybody involved from 2 levels, and this is what was important to me. Number 1, be aware of the kind of food that people are getting. You know, do you always use cranberries on your, do you always have it in your cabinet? Do you always use that? Or can you come up with some ways? And to realize that there's limited supply. You only can use 5 or 6 ingredients because that's what you can afford this week. And so it made many people very creative. We had some wonderful dishes. And everybody talked about, wow, what it must be like to not have the full variety of everything you use, and becoming more aware of that. So for me, it was very successful because they got the concept of, oh my God, I could only do 6 items and I don't even think about how many things I throw in. Or I shopped once and I'm good, I'll go again tomorrow. And that's not necessarily how it works for everybody. So that was very successful. And the other one we did a can drive, food drive that we opened up to our members as well. And they, each branch had to build something with their donated food. So we had Christmas trees. I don't know if it's on that picture. We had a Cubs logo. How they got all those colors to coordinate was beyond me, but they did it. We had a Sears Tower. But again, it was more about not just collecting, throwing it in the box. Our team actually worked with it. And some of them were like, oh man, there's all these vegetables. There's no fruit. And people went out and bought some fruit to throw in the box because they realized that it was kind of limited in what was in there. So for me, that is how we're approaching it. It is all about not just bringing in things and sharing that part of what we have, but understanding how it works when you're on limited resources and maybe you only do have vegetables and there aren't any fruit cans. So the staff have loved it. They're very behind it right now. We will have another cooking challenge in the summer that we're planning using fresh fruits and vegetables because when they come out and people try to get them at the food pantries, we want to have some ideas. We did compile all of our recipes, and I'm forwarding that over to Hester to do a little cookbook that could go out to our food pantries in our area to say, hey, some people made this out of these few items, you know, just a new idea. That's pretty much where I'm going. Hester, did you want more?
No, that's wonderful. Thank you, Linda. We're looking forward to being able to share those
Okay.
recipes at our food pantries for our hungry neighbors.
Yes.
And maybe give them some new ideas of ways to use what they're getting at the food pantry. And then I
Great,
think,
thank
you know,
you.
Numark is kind of with us for the year, correct? Or at least,
Yes.
you know.
We've committed to a minimum of 1 year, and we're trying to do an outreach. Credit unions have local chambers where there's multiple credit unions involved in them, and we've gone to one of those meetings and we're going to another, asking other credit unions to join in with us to do a United Giving from United to End Hunger program for credit unions, where we are committed to supporting this particular Southside facility and helping them get it up and running, and we are working on volunteer hours as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And we really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Going beyond just what you can do and telling, you know, the other credit unions so that they can get involved. That's a huge help to us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. And then another company that has been a long-time supporter for us is Prinova USA. They are an ingredient manufacturer in Carroll Stream who volunteer with us regularly. And Karen Pachter and Chris Jones are here to explain why and how they support the food bank. Karen, are you there?
I am here. I am here. I'm just going to mention a little bit about just kind of the culture of Prinova and our involvement in the community, and then Chris is going to just explain some of the events that we have done to support. Our culture here at Prinova is to, as part of our core values, is to build a positive, engaging work environment and a charitable involvement. And we do events throughout the year to support the core values of the company. As part of the positive, engaging work environment, we follow the FISH philosophy, and part of the FISH philosophy is to play or to have fun at work, but as part of that section of it, we have encompassed playing, having fun, charitable involvement, and a fitness also into that in that sector, where the different events at the Northern Illinois Food Bank have come into play for us. And it's been very successful with motivating employees to participate in events, to feel good, give back to the community, and be supported by the core values of the company. Chris, do you want to tell some of the things that we've done?
Yeah, so this is Chris. We've gotten involved in a few different ways over the past years. One that we had done in the past, we had Food Wars here, which was a food donation program where we kind of pitted the guys against the girls and to see who could donate more food, and that was a successful event, and we were able to have good donation to the food bank. In more recent years, we've latched on to the Foodie 5K. We sign up for the event that's held at Cantini, and it's just a great way, as Karen said, to for participants to have fun, to stay healthy and get exercise, get themselves off the couch and start preparing for that in the spring. And once you're there, it's also just fun for different people from different areas of the company to do something social with coworkers that maybe they haven't had a chance to socialize with or to participate with. Of course, it also helps generate donations, so we sign up as a team, and team members through the website can solicit donations from their family and their friends, and Prinova has a company match to those donations that come in through that avenue. Each year so far in the last 2 years, and we will be attending again this year, we usually have about 20 to 25 participants who sign up and participate. It's a great cause and a great event, and everyone comes back with only good things to say about that, and have a lot of fun. Hopefully this year the weather will be a little bit warmer than it was last year on April 1st. Another way that we volunteer at the food bank is we've organized monthly volunteer nights, and we We typically reserve 10 spots one night. We pick the same night. It's I think the last Tuesday night of each month. We reserve 10 spots, and we try to feature a different department so that we spread the opportunity to participate around the company and let each of the departments try to run one of their own shifts. That's been really successful to date. Typically, we end up having to call Amy, who helps coordinate the groups, and typically I find myself asking if we can actually get more than the 10 because our response is running actually a little bit higher. It's also a good way, I think, to spread the volunteering beyond like the Christmas season, because I know a lot of times the food bank might get a lot of church groups and companies that come during that time, but this helps us spread it around throughout the remainder of the year. Employees again come back from those nights passing the word about how fun it was to volunteer and just the great feeling that they get once they've had the chance to participate. So we continue to do that in 2017 as well.
Thank you so much. Can I just ask, Chris, how many employees do you have there at Prinova?
In the Carroll Stream facility, we have about 200.
Okay. So not a huge number that you're drawing from for people to come every month, but that's great. We love seeing you every month coming back.
Correct. And we've already had such, like as Chris said, it's been so popular. We have 2 departments. We've already filled our February and March slots already just by interest engaged from their departments. They're like, we want our spot, we want our month, so which is very exciting for us to hear.
That's great. Thank you so much. Appreciate you sharing that with everybody.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So that's pretty much all we have for you. If anybody has any questions or wants more information on anything, please type something in the chat box or get in contact with us. On the next screen, I have the contact information for myself. Oh, sorry, lost it. For myself, for Shannon Thompson, who is our manager of volunteers, and for Kate, who is managing our special events and promotions. So thank you all for your time, and you will be getting a short survey immediately following this webinar, and we'd really appreciate you filling it out so that we can plan for future webinars. As I think you know, this is only the second time we've tried this, and so we're still kind of finding our way and trying to figure out if it's valuable for our corporate partners, and maybe some other subjects that you would like us to include in the next one. We'll just stay on a little bit if anybody has any questions.
There was a question about, is there information about events available on your website? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely, yes. You can.
Yeah, so you can go to solvehungertoday.org/events, and that'll take you to our event calendar. And then if you want to see a list of the events or sponsorship info for specific events, over on the left side of that screen, there'll be one that just says events and fundraisers, and you can click on it and it'll list the events, and there's a link to all of the sponsorship info on there as well.
A follow-up question, how do we sign up to volunteer?
I can take that one too. So again, if you go to solvehungertoday.org, right on the homepage, there is a very large green button at the top of the screen that says volunteer. You'll click on that, and then you'll pick which center you want to go to, and then it'll take you to our calendar that will show you how many available spots we have open for each day and for each shift, and you can sign up right online. If you want to bring a group of 20 or more, you will have to call in to schedule a shift with one of our volunteer coordinators, and Shannon's information is on the screen, so you can call her.
Oh, do we have volunteer opportunities at all our locations? Yes, we certainly do. So at our West Suburban Center in Geneva, we can take up to about 150 volunteers at one time. In Rockford, at our Northwest Center, and at our North Suburban Center in Park City, which is in Lake County, we can take about 50 at one time. And then hopefully middle of the year, probably after July, we will have opportunities at our new center in Joliet. So I think if there aren't any more questions, we will just thank you again. Please take the time to fill out the survey, and we hope to see you or talk to you soon. Thanks again.